has a PV of a 37-32. And Ikod a little bit behind there with a 43-04, but it's still going to be a fairly close race here as we're moving into the prologue here. So in the prologue, you're going to see we will be able to dash through, or not dash, sorry, we'll be able to jump, we'll be able to climb things, and of course walking. And we're going to be jumping as much as possible because jumping is slightly faster than just normal walking.
Yep, it saves about a second, but it's still easy to do, so just do it anyway. And get the ability to dash, so we dash, because birds. Bird gave us ability to dash. He's a nice bird.
Oh, Ikod is actually a 38-45 apparently, so...
Okay, that's much closer.
It's going to be a whole bunch closer than we originally thought. So this is actually just difference of about a minute here, so this is going to be a very, very close race. So we're seeing here GDTog moving through this first stage with the dash mechanics introduced with the dash. So we're going to see him right there. He did a reverse extended hyper dash. So the hyper dash is a down diagonal dash followed by a jump, gives you a lot of speed and a little bit less height than normal jump. The reverse part means it's reversed backwards, and the extended means that he waits long enough to actually get his dash back. So Alright, so GDTog also now in the final section here of the Forsaken City here. Just a couple of jumps here left. Having a bit of trouble here getting to that platform though. Yeah, he had to restart the game, but shouldn't matter too much since we are after all going after the in-game timer here, not RTA, so it shouldn't lose too much time for the actual the race. And now everything is actually working as intended, which is great.
Okay, but so, yeah, it's gonna look a bit weird because the in-game timer is significantly behind. But just pay attention to that in-game time, and you'll be able to tell who's ahead based on that.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep you updated with it, of course, as well. So that was chapter 1 went by fairly quickly here, and now we're and GDTog is now moving into chapter 2 here, introducing the dream blocks in a little bit, which you can dash through until the block ends, basically. Going to be used throughout the rest of this chapter here.
Yeah, it's a very fun mechanic. And it pretty much gives you the introduction to this world being not quite what it is. What it seems to be.
So there we actually see like one of the very few glitches in the game where you can actually use skip cutscene when your Y coordinate is actually in the dream block's Y coordinate. You start inside the dream block and then you can actually just dash through it immediately when the cutscene ends instead of having to do a little jump up. Doesn't save too much time, but it is free time, so why wouldn't you go for it?
And after that, we're going into the next section where we have to run away from our clone, known as Battle Line. He mirrors she mirrors all of your actions 3 seconds behind you. Does exactly what you do, which isn't too bad as long as you keep moving fast.
Yeah, but in the end, it's going to be a little bit more of a problem because of you have to do some backtracking to get a couple of lock switches. Speaking of lock switches, these are lock switches. You collect some coins and then they move blocks when you've collected all of them in a room. So right in the room that GDTog is in now, you actually have to do some backtracking here, which can involve to some, or can lead to some run-ins here with Badline, but he manages to avoid it very well. And now the long room here in the end with long fall and then a couple of coins you have to pick up. Can lead to some quite costly deaths, so we'll see how GDTog does it very well so far. Gets through without the death, very nice. Very nicely done there by GDTog.
And that is the end of the chase sequence right there.
So now we just have a couple of movement sections here. Moving through a couple of dream blocks first. We're going to move through this part twice, once with dream blocks and once without. The second part especially is going to involve some fairly precise movements in order to not get stuck on a bunch of corners and pillars that exist in your way here to the end of the level.
No. got really close there. Actually, he was doing pretty well with the movement on this part, and then he hit one of the corners and just completely slowed down entirely. So you could see how just even one mistake costs you a lot of time even though that section doesn't even look that punishing.
Yeah, so it is a incredibly momentum-based game, so losing that momentum can lead to a lot of slowdown. And we saw the GDTog exiting the level in 420, so we'll see what time Ikod is on when he finishes levels as well.
Okay.
Now we're moving into resorts. So do you want to explain the resort mechanics real quick?
Sure. After I'll just say quickly that Ikod is just about done with his chase sequence as well. So, yeah. Now in the hotel we got these dust bunnies, which they have their own cycles to them a lot. They move around and they will kill you no matter if they hit you at all. So you gotta dodge them. And then we also have keys and doors, which you know what
which work like keys and doors too. So we're seeing here Ikod finishing up. It looks like he's gonna be just a little behind, actually a little bit ahead. Actually at the exact same time as GDTog when he finishes ult side. Also ending that also with a 420 there, so it's actually exactly equal when exiting ult side here. So that's really nice.
It doesn't look like it, but we are equal.
The key open door person in chat. That's
yeah. I was asking you. I don't know what the key does.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Yeah, so the keys actually unlock the locked doors. It's absolutely incredible how they managed to come for that. I've actually never mentioned these. There's these platforms that are in a couple of sections here. They go down when the player is on top of them, and if you hold down, they actually go down quite a lot faster. So it's used to gain a little bit of time in a couple of sections here. Now moving into the huge mess part, this is one of the most absolutely annoying parts to speed on here because of the incredibly narrow pathways and the quite precise dash that you want to do here to get through this section quick.
Yeah, so
doing very well.
Like we were saying at the end of chapter 2, because this is entirely momentum based, this is even more so of a hindrance because we got ceilings and legitimate walls in our way now instead of just some random hills.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the hugeness part here, we're actually going to clean up all of those blocks. There's the 3 sections here. First, we're going to get these boxes out of the way, then some books, and finishing up with some towels. So there he pushes the first button, which is going to clear out all the boxes from the main area. As you can see, it's a lot less cluttered, but there's still a way to go for the hotel manager here, Mr. Zero, to be happy. And Ikod now also about to move into the hugeness section.
Yeah, if you also notice, we have these like little red prickly things on the floor at some points, and I forget the exact term for those, but they're essentially just dust on the floor that when you touch that wall or floor or ceiling, I think there's a ceiling in some. No, there's not.
So, yeah.
Wall or floor, and then jump off of that area. Dust will appear where you were, and you can no longer touch that area of the wall or floor.
Yeah, when I played this game first, I had a lot of trouble with it actually, because I like to jump up and down when trying to time cycle, so it really can prevent you from doing that. Mostly in the speedrun, we just go straight past them, so it's not that much of an issue. But casually, they can actually cause quite a lot of trouble. Ikod is doing a little bit of a spike jump there. He's actually wall jumping away right underneath the spikes, and then moving away from the spikes when he's in the hitbox. And spikes in this game work really like that if you're moving away, you can't actually get hurt by them. So you can do that a couple times during the speedrun.
Okay, so we'll see. Well, I'll do a little trick here of little segments here. So he went back to the big mess screen after it was all cleared at around 7:40. So we'll see where Ikod is when he gets to the big to a cleaned up big mess.
Yeah. Now we're in the elevator shaft here. It's just a couple of rooms here with some more cycles and some more movement here. In a couple of rooms here, we might see GDTog with pretty cool strat with some chained hypers. We're gonna have to see if he goes for it or not. Let's watch. He goes for it and gets it first right. Really, really nice there.
Well done.
It's a fairly precise timing there to get those hypers in all in a row. And as you see, he retried at the end of the room there. If you have the key, you can retry and get back to the start of that room without losing the key. It's a lot quicker than actually trying to go back through those. The desync is because of Ikod having to reset the game at the start, so that's unfortunately why. Everyone answering is great. So now GDTog here in the Oshiro fight section, but we don't have time to fight him because we have to run away and speedrun the game instead. So yeah, we will be running away from him instead. So there's going to be even more cycles here. Not only is Oshiro on a cycle here when he goes for attacking, in a couple rooms here you're also going to see him interacting with the Dust Bunny cycles, which can lead some kind of frustrating moments here when the two cycles don't really want to match together.
Yeah, it's all based on being able to go through each screen quickly enough.
So far doing a pretty good job here, having only about 1 death so far. Ikod also getting those chained hypers there. And is about to move into the Oshiro fight as well. Ooh, almost falls off there, but nice save there. Finished off at 10 minutes flat, so Ikod's gonna have to put up a pretty good fight here against Oshiro, or 10-1 actually, but still very good. And Ikod's gonna have to put up a fight here to be able to match that time.
4 deaths. I think 4 deaths in the hotel there.
Yeah, hotel is the cycles can be quite messy for speedrunners, unless you're like at the very top. So a couple deaths is very common in that chapter, especially. And in all the chapters, really. It is a fairly tricky game to learn to speedrun because well, it is just simply pretty hard.
Okay, Ikod taking a bit of a slower route there on that last screen. And now we're on the actual last screen. Which
no, it's on the last screen. There's 2 more screens to go here.
I don't know this game.
So GDTog now in the Golden Ridge section here, we have some new mechanics again. We have some wind that is wind and push you around. We have some green bubbles that act like a secondary dash, as well as clouds which act like trampolines. Don't ask me why they work with trampolines, but they just do in this game.
I mean, when you look at a cloud, they look so bouncy.
Yeah, they do, but they aren't. Science.
Yeah, because this game has been so good with science.
Yes,
No.
so Ikod finishing off just 9 seconds behind GDTog after Restore, so it's an incredibly close race so far, and this could really go either way. As GDTog messes up that spike chip just a little bit. Has the same, works the same way as it does in Resort there. So. And in the next screen, we're probably going to see GDTog going for a bit of an auto-scorer skip here. Let's see if he goes for it. Yeah, he does go for it. So, oh, but he does miss it. He gets the block a little too high to not get momentum. So, blocks, all the moving blocks in this game gives a lot of momentum to Madeline's different dashes. So you can use that in a lot of places in runs to skip sections. It's just used that one time here, but especially in chapter 5 and 6, we'll see that used quite extensively. You saw that GDTog doing a bit of a hyper dash there with the clouds. The clouds can both give a lot of extra horizontal distance and vertical height to the dashes that Madeline does. As you see right there, he does a dash jumping. It's a huge amount of height to get to that other arrow block.
Yeah, especially if you do it extended once, so you can get your dash back before you end up in the air. So that you're able to get even more height from it.
Ikod also gonna probably go for the auto scroll skip here. No. Oh, okay, yeah, that was
yeah,
a
you got
interesting strategy, actually. Very nice of him there. And GDTog is now, in a couple of rooms, going to get into the harsh wind section, where you're basically not going to be able to walk, but of course we have all these speed tech available to us, so we'll probably see the runners go through these quite quickly still. Yes, as you can see, he's moving very slowly, even with the dashes, but chaining a couple hypers together would still be able to clear these rooms in a fairly good time here. And both runners having a fairly decent, pretty good run so far even, I go ahead and say. This ridge is looking fairly good for both of them as well. So this is definitely going to be an interesting and very close race here, I think, at the end. Ikod catching up a bit here, and is also about to move into the horseman section here. Nice little skip there over the spikes there from him as well. Now GDTog is going to move into the last room here of the Golden Bridge, so we'll have to keep an eye on what his time is going to be and see how they compare now after this chapter. Looks like GDTog has been having a little bit of troubles with some deaths here, so we could actually see Ikod taking over the lead here. So GDTog finishing there with a 1350, so we'll be seeing what Ikod finishes up here in just a moment. So do you want to go ahead and talk about the mechanics of the Mirror Temple?
Sure. So first thing you're going to see once we get inside this temple is some dash blocks which move when you dash. So they'll move around this track that you see, and just when you dash, they move immediately. And we also got these red bubbles, which are similar to the regular bubbles that we saw in Chapter 4, except instead of just being a set distance, they will keep going until they hit a wall or you dash out of them yourself.
Yeah, now we see Ikod finish up here with a 1331, so he's actually about 20 seconds ahead of GDTog now going into Mirror Temple, so that's really nice for him, taking over the lead there. And one last mechanics is gonna... we see GDTog trying to go there for a little bit of a cutscene skip glitch, similar to the one in Chapter 2, but does miss it by a little bit. It's a very precise one, doesn't save that much time either, so trying to go for some swag, but does miss it, unfortunately. And also, a skip we missed talking about, Ikod's going to come up to a skip here where he's going to do most likely do a wave dash of a platform to skip a bunch of spikes. Also, GDTog experienced another skip here with a little hidden red bubble there. It's used for a collectible actually, but it's a lot faster than trying to collect the key for 90% as well, so we go for it. So I'm getting the skip there, or Ikod getting a skip there and getting the key there very nicely. I don't believe there actually has been any upsets, as far as I remember, Berto.
And considering this is less than about a minute difference between the two runners in terms of PBs, it wouldn't exactly be much of an upset. It's just like, this is just a close match in general.
Yeah, so GDTog now meeting, or becoming one of our new friends, the Seekers. In this little section he has to eat himself, and they're gonna soon turn into enemies, which is going to home in on your position. Unlike the snowballs and Oshiro earlier, they're not just going to home in once and then stay there, they're actually going to follow you when you move. So they can be a little bit trickier to deal with. But they can also be used in quite interesting ways here to help us with some lock switches, which we're probably going to see coming up in the next couple of rooms here. Ikod also riding the bubble up to the mirror and going to go into the Seeker section here. So there on GDTog screen you see the Seeker actually going to pick up the coin for him. Very nice of that Seeker to help like that.
Yeah, one of the only times that they're helpful.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's used in a couple more rooms here, so just keep an eye out for it. And ooh, that was a very nice little bop there to make him land there. Perfectly done by GDTog.
Yeah, able to bop him into the other key as well.
That can actually be quite tricky to do, that exact one. Usually what would happen is you actually have to wait for the Seeker's explosion, which can also trigger the coins. But he actually gets it like immediately, which saves a little bit of time there, so that's very nice for him. Ikod also going into this unraveling section, as it's called, so he's gonna be meeting the Seekers as well. And coming up here on GDTog screen in a little bit, it's gonna be the search skip. Probably you've heard about it by now. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how good you are, with just a simple reverse hyper dash here, or a reverse jump test. My apologies.
Reverse extended.
Reverse extended jump test. Thank you. I know this game. Missed it, unfortunately, first try. Good second try though, very nicely done. So yeah, that saves a lot of time. It's by far the biggest skip we have in this game. And Ikod now also in the unravel section here, having a little bit of trouble with these Seekers, but also going at a little bit slower pace, but he's getting through there, so that's very good. And GDTog now in the next screen, I believe, is gonna be meeting our other friend, Theo. So Theo is in this crystal ball here, and he's kind of hard to move around with because you can't actually dash when you hold him. But you can dash before you pick him up and transfer the momentum from that dash to when you're carrying Theo and get a little bit of a speed boost. So that's gonna be used a lot by these runners here.
Yeah, Ikod not using as much of trying to manipulate the Seeker's movement to try to help you out at the same time.
Yeah, so losing a little bit of time there, but of course he did have a bit of lead going in, so we'll simply see how it goes after the Theo section, because the Theo section can really make or break a run. One of the sections that can be really tricky if you're on a bad day. So we'll see how it goes. Having a bit of trouble there with Surge Skip 2, missing the extended jump dash there a couple of times. But
oh, not getting it that time either.
there we go.
Gets it on the third.
GDTog now in the last couple of rooms here of the Theo section. So we're going to see him finishing up here. I believe next room is the last room, so just a little bit to go. Ooh, drops Theo
trying to do that trick. So you can get Theo up above, and now he just threw Theo too far.
Yeah, so you actually have to get
There
both Madeline and Theo alive to the end. So get a little bit of trouble there with Theo not doing quite what he wants him to do, but
yeah, so finally managing to get the trick where you can get Theo above, pretty much breaking the entire way that room is supposed to be done casually.
Unfortunate death there might lose him the lead, because at least according to one person in chat, GDTog is now in the lead, which seems to be about right, but he has had a couple of costly deaths, so I could very well be taking the lead back again at the end here. So we'll have to keep an eye out for the times.
Okay, looks like a 1954 for total in-game time.
Yep. So Ikod has about a minute here to finish up, which might be a little bit tight here, but we'll see. He definitely has a chance to get back on track here. So now moving into Reflection, we of course have new mechanics as we do with every chapter. So we're going to first see the feathers being used here, which lets you fly for a little bit with the omnidirectional control, so you can move in all 360 degrees, which is very nice. Ikod actually getting that momentum booster from the last buff, very nicely done there by him.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting for the day where we can be able to do the Tash strat.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
I feel like it's not too terrible. You just gotta understand like where you are, even if you can't see yourself.
There has been a couple of people trying to do it. I don't know if anyone has successfully done it yet. I think maybe there has been one, but don't quote me on that. So what did you say the time was for GDTog? Was it a 1954?
1954 was correct, yeah.
And did
GDTog do leg skip just then, or no?
No, he did not.
Okay, so we'll see if we have to address that later or not.
Oh, I could have a lot of problem here with the last room, finishing up at 20 flat, so he's 6 seconds behind GDTog going into Reflection. This is still an incredibly close race, so
absolutely,
it's probably going to be down to the wire here. Wow. GDTog are using the momentum from that Kevin block, as we call them, to clear that really quickly. So these blocks are called Kevin blocks or crusher blocks. Kevin because of the person that did the noises for the blocks, Kevin from Power Up Audio. So thank him for those wonderful little hours. Also see these bumpers here that act just like pinball bumpers. So they both do the lake skip, which is probably for the better. Lake skip is a fairly precise little skip that saves just a couple of seconds, but it's very, very easy to mess up. So both runners here just letting go of that.
Okay, right now GDTog taking a route that I'm somewhat actually familiar with now. I've seen a lot of runners taking routes that aren't like the agreed upon typical route of Chapter 6, because the Chas has discovered that a different route is actually faster. But it's not really RTA viable to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah, I think most of the routes are the safest. Mostly the last run that's different, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it does save time if you do it almost perfectly. But as you said, RTA it's not really that viable, so we still go to the bottom right in that last part. Ooh, GDTog just barely avoiding those bumpers there in the end with Feather. Those bumpers can be quite annoying to deal with, so very well done there, dodging them. And now we're gonna move into the Ballon Chase here.
Yeah, got this little skip here. It's kind of precise, and if you die at any point, you'll be sent back to the top. There is actually a checkpoint midway through it if you want to go get it, but most of the time it's just quicker to just try to do it in one try.
Yeah. Usually, actually, if you would do it the sort of intended way, you could actually get about 3 checkpoints. So because we skip all those, it can be a quite costly room if you mess up in the end there. But so yeah. But now GDTog is on the last Kevin block before the Ballon fight. He's probably gonna go for the Ballon boost here.
It looks like he's on the edge of it, ready for the go.
Oh, but he smacks it in the right corner there. So
I think he was a bit late with that, so he was too high by the time he got to that little tunnel. So yeah, using the crush of the block to give yourself some momentum to go through that area. But now we got this battle line fight where we are trying to get to battle line and hit her enough times so that she finally accepts our hug, accepts our love. And so she'll shoot some projectiles and some lasers at us, but it's not. There's no real new mechanics other than battle line herself.
yeah, so the good thing about Battleline is she's actually quite nice and gives us the dash back after we hit her. So usually the runners will use this to get to the ground faster, since the move attack, almost all of them, requires us to be on ground. But in the later parts like here, we'll see that we're going to be falling way too much, so we're just going to have to use the dash to get closer to her instead. Ikod now also in the section here with the spike. Ooh,
Yeah.
Gets hit by those spikes and has to redo that room. Now this is quite a lot of time.
Those bumpers are being kind of awkward for him.
See if they're nicer this time. He decides to go to get the checkpoint.
Goes grab that checkpoint just in case, but didn't need it actually.
Still better to be safe than sorry. Ooh, GDTog with that cost of death there in the Ballon room with the laser in the end. It's quite a tight cycle if you want to go for it. So we just barely missed it there, which is quite unfortunate. Gets the second time though, very nicely. And Ikod now also moving into the fight section here. On the last little Kevin block. We'll see if he also decides to go for goes through a couple of swag hypers there. He's also he's going for the Ballon boost, but gets stuck on the corner inside, unfortunately.
Damn corner. Okay, and GDTog is about to move on to the second part of the battle line fight, which has these moving platforms going in cycles, so they will move back and forth on the path that they choose, on the path that you see.
Yeah, so casually these can be quite annoying to deal with, but of course, being speedrunners, we have developed some pretty good strats here to get through them without much trouble. Yeah, GDTog moving through this very well so far. Missing a cycle there, unfortunately, but gets through it very well still. And now in the last couple rooms here of the battling fight, which are very long and can be very punishing if you mess up in the end. So we'll see how he deals with it. Ikod now also in the battling fight and a bit in, so we'll see him catching up very soon here as well. GDTog now in the last room here. Very long feather room with couple of pretty precise movements here. There's a lot of spikes that can kill you, and of course the laser from Battleline, sorry. So, but he does get through his first try very, very nicely down there, and now finishing.
There's some things you want. Yeah, there are little things you want to keep in mind with the feather, being that if you, depending on when you catch the next one, you'll either end up doing the getting out of the feather animation, or you can continue on having the feather. So you want to be able to get to the next feather quickly to refresh that timer instead of having to wait through that animation.
So he finishes up there with his 27:02, I believe. See?
A second. Yep,
Yeah, 2702.
That's what it says.
So we'll check with Ikod when he's done there as well. Oh, he dies on the same frame that he actually hits Badline. That's really unfortunate
Oh,
there for
that's
Ikod.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes back to hit the ricochets and hits the spikes somehow. I guess that was just wrong direction of the dash.
I think the laser actually hit him at the same time as he hit Badline. I've had that happen a couple times. It's fairly precise and very unfortunate. But he's also now about to... Yeah, he's moving into second section now, so it's going to be a close one still.
Anyway, on
yeah, you got it.
You got it. Okay, fine. Fine. We're too polite. We got the summit now, which is basically a culmination of all the previous chapters' mechanics combined. We will see each one, like, in its own section. They did not combine the mechanics at all, unfortunately. I wish they did. I wish they played with that more. But anyway, we just got through the first section, which is kind of an homage to Reflection. There's no real of Kevin blocks or bumpers there, but the art style is similar.
Yeah, and now he's in the 500-meter section here, which is the chapter 1 section. So we're gonna see more use of these zip blocks. So in the actual chapter 1, we skip most of the zip blocks because they're kind of slow compared to hyper dashing and whatnot. But here there's gonna be a lot more usage because you sort of have to get the jump. And,
yeah, there's a lot more verticality in these sections, so
yeah.
we kind of need to use all the stuff provided to us to our advantage.
So it looks like Ikod is having some trouble here in the Badline fight, and it's already behind GDTog going Summit now. Probably going to look at about a minute's difference, which is still absolutely not impossible to catch up. Summit can be a very punishing section, so it's still going to be a really, really close race here.
Opting to take it safe, waiting for that laser to happen, and is now done with that fight. And just as GDTog is out of 500 meters.
Yeah, moving into my about second favorite chapter here of Summit. So there's a lot of dream blocks going on here with a lot of really cool movement. Probably going to utilize jumping out of dream blocks quite a lot here, which we haven't actually talked about. So you can actually jump out of these dream blocks and get a little bit of more distance and a little bit more speed. So as you saw, so it's a very nice section here. I really enjoyed watching this one. And Ikod now finishing up Reflection with 1 minute and 13 seconds behind. So we'll have to keep track here because, as I said, Summit can be quite punishing in some sections. So GDTog has some bad luck and Ikod has some good. This could still be anyone's game, really.
Interesting route on that last screen.
Yeah, but he does get through, so we shouldn't complain too much.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just surprised. There's some good reaction time from him.
So now GDTog in the 1500 meter section, sorry, which is the resort section. It's probably seen as the hardest section of the game here. Has a lot of tight cycles that these runners want to make, and a couple of cool strats in the later rooms that the runners might go for here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. But overall, this has some of the tightest platforming and some really punishing cycles and punishing rooms overall. So GDTog does go for the ultra strat here through this room. I don't think we've touched upon ultras. I'm not sure if we have.
So an ultra is a hyper into another hyper dash. So you're basically combining the momentum of 2 hyper dashes to go even faster.
So that's used in that room. You can do a couple more if you're very fast with the cycles there, but you're talking a little bit of bad luck there with how the not actually luck, but being a bit slow there, unfortunately. So we missed the cycle. And now it's about to finish up here with the 15 meter section. And Ikod is now in the 500 meter section. Having a bit of trouble there with that first little wall bounce, but gets it and it's moving on. We're going to see GDTog here in the 2000 meter section or the Golden Ridge part now.
Got another little wind area in this, of course, because we got to have wind and we got to have our snowballs.
My favorite. And we're gonna see here a little bit of auto-scroller, and we might see GDTog going for an auto-scroller skip. Let's see if he goes for it at all. Yeah, he does. So once again, momentum from blocks being used there to launch himself over all those spikes. And then finishing up here with a little bit of a wall bounce to room.
I really held my breath until the end of that screen as well, because even though that wall bounce seems like it's a one and done thing every time, it still can, things can go wrong with it, so you gotta be careful and pay attention, even at the end there.
Yeah. And Ikod now in the 1,000 meter section, and GDTog is in the last couple rooms here of the 2,000 meter section. So I'm gonna move in. And he's about to move here into my favorite section, the 2,500 meter. This has a lot of really cool strats and a couple of skips as well, so it's definitely my favorite chapter to watch, and probably perform as well. Ooh, Ikod with an unfortunate death here at the end of this very tall room here. Gets it to try that very nicely. So yeah, oh yeah, Ikod's actually doing hypers out of these stream blocks. That's very nice. So you can actually do a hyper dash out of these stream blocks. It's fairly precise, so we don't see too many runners going for it, but Ikod getting that needs a little bit of extra speed, so he decides to go for them. And does it very nicely as well. Once again, utilizing that dash block to get just a ton of momentum there going through that room. A couple wave dashes there to clear all of those moving dash blocks, and now it goes for key skip. Oops.
Yeah, so this involves a bounce onto a wall where the hitbox for the spike doesn't exist on the wall yet. Just all like a little, like a few pixels. I think it's actually like 1 pixel pretty much where it doesn't exist.
Not quite sure, but it's very little basically.
Yeah. So use that to advantage. A bit different from a spike jump in that we're not manipulating how spikes work, but just that how spikes are shaped more so.
Yeah.
Oh,
that costed that turn down this bubble room. Very unfortunate. So let's see here. So now there's another really pretty cool strat there with a couple of bounces there too, and he's going for door skip. Let's see if he gets it. Gets the first one very nicely done, and gets back there on the second one. That's very unfortunate, and then decides to go for safe shot. So door skip, of course, a bit of a meme here in the community. Saves about 1 second. It's generally not worth going for, but does look pretty cool, and so we'll probably see. Oh, Ikod missing that last dash into battle lane bubble there as well. That's very unfortunate. Both players having sort of a rough summit overall, I'd say. So yeah, this could really go either way. I'm quite excited to the end here.
and so on to the 3,000 meter section, which is the final section of the summit, as we now have to, instead of having screen transitions, we're just gonna have a lot more checkpoint flags, which act as the checkpoints. If you die, you go back to the flag. And you got 30 of them, counting down.
And Ikod now also in the 2,000 meter section, sorry. Actually utilizing some ultras there to move through those rooms very quickly, so he's looking to make us one last time.
Also didn't mention that we also have the vertical wind going on. So right now we have a downdraft, which makes us fall faster, and our jumps don't go as high. So it can be pretty hard to get used to at first.
Nice little synchronized that as well. Because of this vertical wind, we're going to see a lot of use of both upward dashes overall, but also wall bounces especially, to be able to clear these flags fairly quickly.
Oof. This flag's giving some trouble for some reason. It's a pretty simple flag, so it's interesting that was giving some trouble.
Yeah,
just overthinking it most likely.
Yeah, might just be some nerves as well, which is very normal. Ikod is now finishing up with 2,000 and going into 2,500. This is an incredibly close race, so yeah, I can't really say how this one's gonna go now. Especially since GDTog is seeming to have some trouble here on 3,000, so if Ikod plays this next very well, we could actually see him doing the first upset of the tournament. That would be in that case. So GDTog now in the upwards wind section here instead of the downdraft. So we're gonna have less gravity, higher jumps and slower falling overall.
Yeah, what most people in platforming would call floatier controls.
Yeah.
Before we had heavy controls, kind of.
Ikod having some trouble there with the key skip, dying 3 times in a row there, unfortunately. Another one time there, hopefully he gets it soon. Very unfortunate. Having a lot of trouble with it.
Gets
there we
it
go,
that
gets it
time,
there.
there we go. And doing the retry, same reason as before. Because the key stays on us even when we respawn.
GDTog now hitting the 10th flag here, so he's getting very close to the end. But we should of course mention that just because he's finished first may not mean that he's winning because of the use of in-game time to actually determine the winner here. So we're gonna have to stay tuned till Ikod finishes to see who's actually gonna win this race.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to do because even on the tech side, thinking because like we have options to mark done and winners and all that stuff, but we won't know even though GDTog will be done first.
Ikod here going for door skip, fails it twice. Tries one more time, hopefully gets it this time.
There it is.
He does get the door skip. Nice, very nicely done. GDTog here on the final 3 flags now. Looking to finish with, he's gonna get about a high 38 time, I believe.
Yep, that's what it looks like. We got flag number 2 going on. I mean, he could get a mid 38 instead of high 38.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Last flag now before the very top of the summit. Gonna finish with yeah, about a mid 38 unless he accidentally retries here or something unfortunate. But he does get this cutscene skip. And
19 it looks like.
38-19 I think it was. Let's see. Once it loads, we'll see. So it does actually look like he's going to win this race. It's going to be very challenging for Ikod to finish this in just about a minute. So I think Ikod is going to actually, or GDTog is actually going to take this one.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Winner got marked by ignore that for now.
Nope. It does look like GDTog is going to be a winner because just the last section does take about a minute. So I think it's pretty safe to do it anyway. But anyway, with that, it's been an incredibly close race. I think like we were about just a couple of seconds apart until reflection. So it's definitely been the closest race that we had so far, which is really, really nice.
Even now, I feel like Ikod has been paying attention to the stream because he's cutting corners that I don't think people would normally cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's now approaching 38.
Does Ikod play without music? This is awkward.
No, you're right. We should probably punish him for that because the music in this game is so fantastic.
Yep, you know what? Ikod loses. Straight up, sorry.
And as he loses with no music, he also does actually lose race here in about 9 seconds on the 13th flag. But still, it's been an incredibly close race and a really good showcase by these runners here. I believe Ikod actually has a 38 something PB that is not recorded if I remember right. So not quite a PB, but still a very, very solid time. And I don't think we mentioned that the time they actually get in the races is going to be used for the seeding and brackets. So even though Ikod doesn't win, he of course wants to get a good time, so he gets a little bit of a better seed going into the bracket stages later.
Yes, it's based on your average finish times in the group stages. So combined, you want some good times going on.
Ooh, misses that little wall monster and has to retry. That's very unfortunate.
Still can't get over the fact that we have no music right now because he doesn't have music. Oh, he did not get that checkpoint 2 flag there just then. He was able to he was able to hyper dash past it without triggering it. But we're on to 1, so that didn't matter too much. And we're done.
And that's the race finished there. I could finish game at 39:51. It was about around 2 minutes behind the GDTog there. So a very, very solid race, close all the way to the very end. So big congratulations to GDTog, and also very well done by Ikod there in this race. And it looks like we do have GDTog for a quick interview before our next race. I think we should have time for it. I'm gonna just make sure here with our tech people.
Okay, it looks like we're gonna try to skip the interview because we gotta move things along, unfortunately. So sorry, Tanner, but well done in your race, and you got a good got a good record starting out with a win in your group, so that's nice.
So we're gonna get the next race going just now, and it's gonna be the Blue Eye versus Catnip race that was actually going to go on earlier. We're gonna have.
I think you added one too many cats. I think you said one too many
might
cats
have.
there.
I'm sorry.
It's very important.
Okay, we do have a couple minutes here before setting up the next one, so we'll have an interview with GDTog here. If he comes in. There we go. There's the man.
Hey, Tanner.
Good day.
Congratulations on that race.
Thanks a lot.
So I'm not sure how much you actually caught of the stream, but it was an incredibly close race all the way up to defection. Did you happen to catch that at all?
I actually had both the stream and the stream chat closed through the entire race. I didn't want it to like bug me or anything from looking over like distractions and whatnot. But that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that it was entertaining.
Yeah, like I think after Temple, you were only about 9 seconds apart, I want to say.
Jeez.
It was really, really close. You pull away a bit away in reflection there.
Yeah, that was actually...
It was an incredibly entertaining race.
That was an ILPB for me in reflection, so...
Oh, that's really nice. What was the time there? I forgot.
7:04, I think.
That's really good.
We also have Ikod in here now, so...
Hey. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to press the done button on the speed racing thing, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you had some glitches at the start there, Tanner. You're not aware, but he actually had his game froze partway through, so he had to restart the game. But the in-game timer stayed, so we were
Yeah,
fine.
it was during Prologue. My game was very laggy. I don't know if it was noticeable on the stream, but it was very laggy, so I prefer to restart the game.
Yeah, that's fair. So, but yeah, I don't know if you knew that also, Ikod, but it was a really, really close race. It was incredibly entertaining to watch. After mid-tempo, we were like 9 seconds apart. It was ridiculous.
Nice. Yeah, it was that close.
GG's, dude.
Yeah.
GG to you too. It was a very, very cool race.
Yeah, big props to both of you. That was a very good race to watch. Anything else you want to say? I think we have to sort of move on because we need to get the next race started. So if you have any final words, please.
Yeah,
This took a long time to start, so yeah. But yeah, GG's, that was a lot of fun. And I'm really happy with that run, especially for a tournament race. That was a PB 24 hours, less than 24 hours ago, so that's a thing.
Hey, nice, good job.
Okay, so you can go give these runners follows. I just put it in the chat. I'm not going to quite say anything about us yet, because we're Swesley and I are going to stick around for the next race as well, so you get to hear more of us.
Which might be good or might not, depending on how you like us. We're gonna take a small break, I believe, and get the next race set up properly. Hopefully this time we're gonna have Blue Eye versus Cat Nip. So that's gonna be coming up very shortly here.
Okay, fingers crossed to make sure that everything goes well.